Great bill awaiting President Rodrigo Duterte's signature. Will this be enough to help struggling businesses and lift the economy? Let's get the views now of Congresswoman and Economist Stella Quimbo. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We are now experiencing the worst economic contraction in the country since 1946. With this Create bill, will it boost economic recovery, and we will see a recovery in the country by at least the first or second half of 2021?
Hi, Rico. Well, of course, it's not the only thing that we need in order to boost economic recovery, but certainly the Create bill will help corporations, at least with their cash flow, because the tax rate, the corporate income tax rate, will be reduced from 35% to 25%, and it will go down further to 20% for smaller companies. So that at least is going to help the cash flow of many businesses. But again, other things need to be done in order to go back to our pre-pandemic growth trajectory.
You mentioned corporations. Does this include the micro and small industries, yes, Congresswoman? Will they be helped by this Create bill? And if yes, by how many more jobs are likely to be created with this new bill if signed into law by President Duterte?
Well, it's not easy to estimate the exact job impact of this bill, because remember, there are two parts in this bill. One part is the reduction in corporate income taxes. The other part rationalizes fiscal incentives, and it's really the second part that is going to bring in more foreign direct investments, which in turn will create more jobs. But exactly how many, that's going to be quite difficult to estimate. Some would say an additional 2 million jobs. I've seen some estimates way over that. But certainly, as a result of more generous incentives, we should be expecting more foreign direct investments.
More foreign direct investments. We spoke with Sunny Africa, Congresswoman from the Ibon Foundation last night on The Final Word, and this is what he had to say about the Create bill.
If we put more money into big corporations right now, very few MSMEs will benefit from the Create bill. The biggest beneficiaries for that are the large, stable corporations, also any foreign corporations that are going to be able to take advantage of that. It's much better to put the same 133 billion pesos in people's pockets. That's going to be spent. That's going to sort of make more small businesses feel it's worthwhile to stay open.
So is this a valid point, Congresswoman, that Sunny Africa says that if we put more money to big corporations, very few SMEs will benefit from this Create bill, because he says that the biggest beneficiaries are the large and stable corporations?
If you think about directly benefiting corporations, certainly the larger ones would directly benefit more, because remember, 67% of our corporate income taxes are paid by large corporations. So if you reduce the tax rate, then you would expect the larger corporations to benefit more directly from that. However, we have to understand that MSMEs are part of the ecosystem of the large corporations. So if you help large corporations, you prevent closure of businesses for large corporations, then that will also indirectly benefit our MSMEs, who, for example, would be supplying, say, for example, services to large corporations, because remember, many of our large corporations outsource services from smaller ones. So to that extent, MSMEs will also benefit from Create.
But Congresswoman, we got this reaction from UP's Raul Fabella on the Create bill, and he said that he was disappointed with the final bill structure, because there's no obligation to invest in return for the tax bonanza. Corporations can just declare dividends or invest, for example, in Vietnam, where foreign investors are taxed 17% versus 25% here. And he also stressed that the government is giving away money to companies whose shareholders are rich. Were there aspects, Congresswoman, of the bill that were overlooked and the features of the bill that weren't thoroughly studied before finalizing it?
So as I said, Rico, we really need an entire box of tools in order to get back to economic recovery. So this is just one step. In order to help, for example, or to encourage more foreign direct investments, there are other things that we need to do. Like, for example, lift the very restrictive economic provisions of the Constitution. If we're able to do that after we pass CREATE, then that will certainly make us at least better compete against Vietnam in terms of foreign direct investments.
So you are for this economic charter change?
Oh, absolutely. It's something that we should have done this a long time ago. Our economy is very restrictive. For example, foreigners are not allowed to own 100% of equity in a corporation. They're not allowed to invest in mass media, in the education sector. There are many restrictions in terms of leasing land. And these are things that that an investor would look at. I mean, Rico, if you were to invest in a country, but you won't be able to have 100% control over that equity, then I think that's a big minus. And versus other countries, for example, Vietnam, where they can have absolute control over their equity, then that's a no-brainer, right, Rico? You would probably more likely go to Vietnam than the Philippines.
But a lot of critics are saying that once you have these changes in the charter, this can open up a lot of other things which lawmakers can change, not only opening up the economy, but also extend term limits and even change, the form of government.
Rico, our speaker has made it very, very clear that what we want to do is to only lift the restrictive economic provisions. It's really going to be just purely economic charter change. And everybody in the committee who voted in favor of that proposition is under that assumption that it is only going to be limited to economic cha-cha. So I guess you'll just have to trust us on that. And well, anyway, let's see.
All right, we will have to wait and see what happens over the next few months. Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word, Congresswoman Stella Quimbo.